A $2,000 a month raise? What would you do if you got a $2,000 a month raise? What would you do with any amount of money you got as a raise? If you ever plan on getting a raise or making any more money than you are now, you're not going to want to miss this video. And watch the end where I have something special for you. In this video, I'm going to share with you what I told my client and why. Then I'm going to share with you a few things that you can do the next time you get a raise, or any lump sum of money for that matter. If you want to learn how to manage, grow, and protect your money, then subscribe to this channel where we're going to learn the mindsets and the skill sets of the wealthy so that we can all grow our assets. Your mindset changes everything. A couple of weeks ago, a client called me and told me that he got a 32% raise. I said, what? A 32% raise? We calculated that out and it ended up being about $2,000 a month. He called me to get counsel on what he should do with that money. And here's what I told him. First, remember there's going to be taxes taken from that $2,000. So you're not going to get all $2,000 of it. After taxes, you might have $1,500. That's still a lot of money, but it's not $2,000. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they get a raise is that they'll go out and buy something new based on that dollar amount of the raise, not remembering that taxes are going to be taken out of it, only to find out that they're not going to be able to afford the thing that they bought because they didn't consider the fact that the taxes were going to be taken out of that raise. The second thing I asked him was about his emergency fund. I wanted to make sure that his emergency fund was full. In the near future, I'll be doing a video on how to build an emergency fund properly. I've built hundreds of emergency funds for people from all walks of life, so I know a few things about how to make sure to do it right. This particular client has a very healthy emergency fund and has way more than 6 months of money set aside and saved in case he has an emergency. The next thing I wanted to make sure was that his short-term purchase accounts were set up and funded properly. Some people call them sinking funds. I call them short-term savings accounts. These are savings accounts that are set aside for a specific purpose, an item, or an event. I'll be doing a video on the different types of savings accounts to set up soon as well. So I asked him if he needed to buy anything specific in the next 90 days, and if he had already had some money set aside for that, or if he needed to use some of this money to help accelerate that and get to his goals faster. Before I tell you about the third thing that I shared with him, go ahead and click like and subscribe if you're getting value out of this video so far. Alright, so the third thing was about debt. This client of mine doesn't have any consumer debt at all. But if he did, I would have asked him how much consumer debt he had. If you get a raise and you have consumer debt, don't you dare go out and buy something new until you've paid for the things you bought the last time you had a raise or the things that you've already bought. This doesn't include mortgages yet. I'll be doing another video on how to pay off your mortgage properly. It also doesn't include your low interest car loans. If you don't have an emergency fund and your short-term savings accounts aren't set up, then I would start there before working on chunking down your installment debt. There's a good reason why, and I'll explain that in a future video. The fourth thing we discussed was his retirement account. I reminded him that he's on track to hit retirement on time and with enough money to make it last. We calculated the exact dollar amount that he needed to invest each month until he hit retirement a long time ago. And since he's been diligent and disciplined, he is well on his way to retiring on time. Now let's get into the advice that I gave him. The first bit of advice that I gave him was that now that his foundation was so strong, he was really in a position to start building. He's actually in a place to make plans to retire early and really build his wealth and get some income producing assets to work in his favor. I told him he should either invest in real estate, in a business like a side hustle or some kind of silent partnership, or continue to build his dividend portfolio. He already has one rental property, so I shared with him that he could invest more in that property or go buy another one, or both. If he could build up a portfolio of real estate that would pay him a passive income, he would have his assets now paying his bills each month. Life completely changes when you have your assets paying for your bills instead of you having to work hard to pay those bills yourself. He could invest in a business or a side hustle to really grow his asset base so that he can have a passive income from a business. He could turn a couple $1,000s into several $1,000s with one great business idea, or with some good investments in an already existing business idea. Dividend stocks pay a very nice passive income, and you can average between 4 and 6% annually. Since he had already started a portfolio of dividend producing stocks earlier this year, I shared with him that he could continue to invest in that portfolio and grow the number of stocks that he has and grow that portfolio to the point where it could produce a very nice passive income for him as he looks forward and works towards retirement. I also promised to do videos on how to establish a dividend incomes portfolio. Dividend producing stocks can be a wonderful part of your passive income portfolio. He shared with me that he had a few things that he needed to do around the house, some repairs that he needed to be made, and also to make a few repairs on the rental property that he owns. So I shared with him it would be a good idea to reinvest some of that money into repairs and upkeep and upgrading his current real estate holdings. Here's the question of the day. What would life be like if your real estate holdings or your dividend stocks or your business paid your bills for you and you didn't have to work? You actually got to choose to work. Go ahead and comment below what that would be like if you had an income portfolio or if you had a passive income stream like that. So what are the key takeaways from this experience? The first one, I think, is that my client called me in the first place. Most people don't know how important it is to have a coach, to have a mentor, someone that you can call when anything changes in your life, especially something as important as having a raise this big. It's important to call that coach, call the mentor and say, what should I do? Give me some good advice, give me some wise counsel, and help me make good decisions. If you don't have a financial mentor or coach, you're missing a key ingredient to your success. This particular client came to me long before he was wealthy or long before he had the resources and the net worth that he currently has. I've helped him to manage, protect, and grow his assets over the years. I have been a financial coach for him and mentor for him with helping him know what to do with his company 401k, with the stock options, with helping him buy his first rental property, helping him buy his first home. I've even coached him through other big purchases that he's made, like whether or not he should upgrade his car. Here's a key to being wealthy. Wealthy people have coaches. They have mentors. They have people that teach them and give them wise counsel, things that they can bounce ideas off of. If you think you can't afford a coach, I'm telling you right now, you can't afford not to have a coach. Someone who's willing to tell you like it is and tell it to you straight. Someone that's willing to share with you their experiences so that you can shorten your learning curve. Someone who's willing to give you wise counsel and then let you make your own choices. Because after all, that's how we learn, by learning correct principles and then governing ourselves. So the next time you get a raise, check yourself against the things that I share with my client. First, wait until your actual paycheck comes to make sure that you know exactly how much you're actually going to get after the taxes are taken out. Second, do you have an emergency fund? And is it full? Third, do you have short-term savings accounts set up that are designed to purchase things that you're going to buy in the next 90 days? Fourth, do you have any consumer debt? Because if you do, you need to pay for that first before you go out and buy anything new. And fifth, is your retirement plan on track? Have you calculated the exact dollar amount that you need to put aside each month to reach your financial goal so that you can at least retire on time and with enough money to make it last? If you're not at least on track to retire on time, there's no way that you're going to be able to retire early. And if you've done all those things, now it's time for you to build a portfolio of income producing assets that can pay your bills for you. It's time to learn to live within your means, and then once you've done that, it's time to grow your means. And the ways to do that are building a business or side hustle, getting a real estate portfolio, or getting involved in dividend paying stocks. Now at the beginning of the video, I shared that I had a couple special surprises for you at the end of the video. In the description, I actually have 2 links there. The first one is to a challenge. It's a 30-day challenge to help you take back control of your money. The second link is a quick survey that you can take to see how you're doing with managing your money, specifically how you manage your spending. I hope that you got a lot out of this video. Go ahead and click the subscribe button up here. And if you have a few extra minutes to stay on YouTube, go ahead and watch this video here. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Then subscribe to this channel. This particular client, I wanted to make sure that his emergency